What ancient language do you like the sound of? I was in a bar in New York City once, and I heard a guy speaking Aramaic. I was sitting at the bar, and there was a guy sitting 2 seats down from me. He was talking on his phone, and I couldn't help but overhear him. He was speaking a language I didn't recognize, but it sounded familiar. I asked him what language he was speaking, and he told me it was Aramaic. I was surprised, because I didn't know anyone still spoke Aramaic. He told me that he was from a small village in Syria, and that Aramaic was his first language. He said that there were only a few thousand people in the world who still spoke Aramaic, and that it was a dying language. I asked him if he could teach me a few words, and he obliged. He taught me how to say hello, goodbye, and thank you in Aramaic. I was fascinated by the language, and I spent the rest of the night talking to him about it. I learned that Aramaic was the language that Jesus spoke, and that it was once the lingua franca of the Middle East. I also learned that there are different dialects of Aramaic, and that the dialect he spoke was called Syriac. I was so intrigued by the language that I went home and did some research on it. I found out that there are still a few schools in the world that teach Aramaic, and that there are a few online resources for learning the language. I decided to learn Aramaic, and I spent the next few months studying it. I was surprised at how easy it was to learn, and I quickly became fluent. I now speak Aramaic fluently, and I use it to communicate with my friend from the bar. We still keep in touch, and we often have conversations in Aramaic. I am grateful that I had the opportunity to learn such a beautiful and ancient language.